Hi, welcome to episode 2 of Life and Steph. I'm Stephanie, and I am not scared of anything, except for snakes, and also celery where I was not expecting it, and also small talk, which is what we're going to talk about today. I don't know why I hate small talk. It has a lot to do with being an introvert. Somebody asked me today what lengths I would go to avoid having a conversation with a human, and I was like, I would hand dig an entire complex network of tunnels if it meant I never had to talk to another human. I would become a mole person if I was the only mole person. I think that the thing that's so hard for me to do with small talk is any of it. That came out weird. It's something that I really struggle with because of that, and because it always happens at parties and at networking events and all over the place. I've developed a few tricks that help me cope with it, and I'm hoping that I can pass those on to you today. The thing I think that's so difficult about small talk is every part of it. I don't know how I'm supposed to join a conversation. I don't know if you just like hop right in there when people are talking. I've always struggled with that. I usually just stand kind of uncomfortably on the edge of a group like this until somebody notices me and takes pity on me. I always want to do something really cool, but I'm not really like brave enough to do it. I know it would break the ice though, and people would really like it. Like the one I really want to try is she's right, you know. Actually, I'm not totally sure everyone would think that's as cool as I do. Maybe not. I also don't really know how I'm supposed to start a conversation. My go-to is usually to do like a compliment, like, hey man, I really like your shirt. But one time I tried that at a party with this guy that I like knew by sight, and he was passing me really quickly in a hallway, and I couldn't really see what was on his shirt. And I was like, hey, I like your shirt. And he was like, thanks, most people really don't. And I was like, what? I, to this day, do not know what was on that shirt. There could be a guy out there who thinks I'm like a Nazi sympathizer or something. And in that case, I do not like your shirt. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to join a conversation that people are already engaged in. I usually like to come in there with a joke because everybody likes jokes and that makes friends, right? I hope. One time I was talking, not really talking, I was standing uncomfortably near two older female acquaintances at a party, and one of them was like, she was about to turn 50, and the other one was like, I remember my big 5-0, and me, thinking I was so funny, was like, me too! And one of them just turned to me and went, no. When that happens, I usually get thrown into an awkward silence and I don't know what to do in there. So my go-to activity that I just do for fun is people watching. But that, it turns out, is really rude when you're already in the middle of a conversation with someone else, because it looks like you're just looking around the room for somebody better to talk to. Like, anybody more interesting over there? So, not great. I also really like, I go to parties and I try to hold something in my hand just as like a crutch, but I think I use it too much, because if there's an awkward silence and I have a drink in my hand, I'll be like, for like 2 minutes at a time. It's just, I'm not really that thirsty, I just don't know what to say. That was quite a lot of water. The problem is, once those things have happened, I pretty much clearly have to leave, because everybody in our little circle of new friends feels weird because of me. So I don't really know the best way to get out of a conversation. Sometimes I try the old like, look over there, what's that? Oh my God, what? But nobody really falls for that one because they've seen it before. I also like to try to do the fake friend, which is where you go, what? Oh yeah, I'll be right there. Oh, I got a friend. I gotta go to. I don't really think anybody falls for that, but it's smooth for me. My other favorite one that I wish worked and never does is the slow edge, which goes a little something like this. Oh, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah? Really? Oh. That one's uncomfortable because it's really hard to hide behind a fern, like an appropriately placed fern right at the right moment. So since I have 26 years of bad small talk behind me, how do I get through these conversations? I'm glad you asked. So one of the techniques that I like to use is to have a few topics prepared in advance. I like to keep them in my back pocket. Actually, literally, because I put them on flashcards and I just check them periodically. I like to look at current events, like the news of the day, like, hey, did you see that election that is happening? That's a winner. One strategy that I use is practicing openers. I like to have some fun facts at the ready so I can just show those to people and they'll definitely want to talk to me more because I'm so interesting and I know a lot of stuff. The first one that I like to throw down, for example, is in every square foot of carpet there's 2 million dust mites. Delightful. I also like to tell people that most of the Muppets are left-handed, and if I ever get anybody who takes the bait on that one, I will have found my best friend. The best way to approach small talk is to treat it like a bomb threat. So the key is to listen. You go in and you actively engage with that person. You look like you're definitely into whatever they're saying. Listen. The second step is to remember the details. You remember their name, you remember what they do for a living, and that way if you're ever at an awkward event again, you have a friend. And like a bomb threat, the third step is to get out. You get out. Leave, but do it in a nice way. If it helps at all, I can tell you that it does get better. When I graduated college, I was just like this horrible, sweaty child who could not talk to humans to save her life, and now I could talk to like one or two probably at a time. So by the time that I am 70 years old, I hope to be the kind of person who could just go to a party and not have to put on 7 layers of deodorant. I'm pretty sure that everybody secretly, even the extroverted people, kind of hate small talk. I think we would all a little bit rather be hanging out at home with our cats, for example, than having these conversations. So that may help you. What I'm trying to say is it does get better. A little bit. What's that? If you too would prefer to be a mole person, you might enjoy future episodes of Life and Steph. You would probably want to subscribe down below, which is where we will go to live as mole people. That was weird.
Primitive man going into caves, reaching back and down, wondered what lay beyond, and in terror he fled out. And he remembered strange sighs and noises,